between the mean and a z-score is of whatever it is, we're gonna take it from the table?
Yes.
The number direct from the table?
That's exactly right. Yes. So
and it's gonna be only one number, or we have to add both numbers like you did?
Oh, no. No, it'll just be one number. Good question. Yeah, it'll just be one number. My computer's being really, oh, there it goes. Okay, so let's get into those questions because I kind of veered off topic. I apologize. So looking up a z-score, okay, we'll do 1.41 just for fun, okay? So we've got to get that table, okay? We have to get these tables, or again, they're here for you if you want them. I could do that. There we go. So we got to find 141. Okay, there we go. 141. So here's the other thing, right? These tables, obviously these are things we've probably never really seen in our life before, but we don't need to stress because one, you have notes, and two, you got this, you can do this, and three, the best part is it tells you. Okay, it tells you. Now it's kind of in our little statistical code words, okay, but we can still do it. All right, we can do it. So remember, this column is our z-score, whatever z-score we're looking up, okay? B column is just like it says right here, the mean to the z. It's the proportion between the mean and the z, okay? And then C column is our z to infinity, all right? Now here's how I try and help everyone tie things together like this. So see this number 11 here? The proportion in the tail beyond a z-score. Think of Buzz Lightyear. What does he always say? To infinity and beyond. Okay, to infinity and beyond. So whenever you see beyond, think of Buzz Lightyear, and here we have it, from the z to infinity. Okay, so to infinity and beyond, in the tail is C column. If you don't like those little words and symbols, it gives you a picture right here. Okay, it gives you a picture. Now there's two of them because it's also showing you if you had a negative z-score right here. Okay, but let's look at this one. So B column is right. Oh, I'm too big on that. All right, B column is right there. Okay, from the mean to the z. And C column, I'll even pick Buzz Lightyear colors, is right there. It's to the tail and beyond the z-score. For a negative, oh, go ahead. Okay, in the negative, right, B column is still telling us that same proportion. It's telling us from the mean to a z. Okay, we can't forget everybody that's below the mean. They matter too, right? They are there. They're there. We can't forget them. So we still have a proportion of people right there. Okay, so that's B. It's from the mean to the z. Sorry, and then our C column is from that z in the tail to infinity and beyond. Okay. All right. So did someone do 1.41 yet? Yeah. Okay, good. Right. So we have 1.41 here. Oops. I got way, they're too thick. They're too thick. Sorry about that. 1.41. So the proportion between the mean and a z-score of 1.41 is that right there, that 0.4207. Okay. And then the next question, the proportion in the tail beyond the z is the 0.0793. Okay. It's once you do this a couple of times, it's really it becomes super easy. Okay. Now we have an example over there. 12 and 13 are negatives. Okay, but let's for funsies, let's pick another number and let's say we're pretending that it's negative. Okay, so let's pick this one right here. This negative, we'll say it's negative 1.05. Okay, negative 1.05. So if we had a negative z-score of 1.05 and we were trying to find it over here, let's say it would be like really close, right? It would be like right there, maybe negative 1.05. If we're looking at the proportion in between that z and the mean, it's going to give us, let's see, I'll stick with the same colors, okay? It's going to give us all of this in here. This is the proportion that it's telling us. And what is that value? What is that number? What is B column? Can someone tell me?
Is it 0.3135? I think that's what it said.
3531?
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's all right. 3531. That's exactly right, Cassandra. It will not be a negative. Do you see over here these tricky little things that put a negative? Automatically, when you see that, you mark those off. Okay. We cannot have a negative proportion of people. If you think of it in terms of percentages, we can't have negative 35% of the people. Okay. Just because they're below the mean and they have a negative z-score does not mean that they're in any way absent or non-existent. Okay, they're there, they matter. All right, what is the z-score beyond, or what, I'm sorry, what's the proportion in the tail beyond a z-score of negative 1.05? Do we have that value? Can you see it? It's probably so small, huh? Oh, I get 1469. Yeah. Would it help if I put those graphs or chart tables just as a standalone document and put it under documents, and so you could blow it up and stuff or print it if you need it? Okay, I'll do that. I'll put that under course documents, just those tables, so you're not having to look at it in the PowerPoint. Okay. So that's how you find those proportions in the table for some given z-score, and that's all it is. Okay. Are there any questions over this part? No, we're good. Irene? No, we're good. Okay. All right. Now the fun stuff starts. You're like, I thought we were already doing fun stuff. No, I'm just kidding. I'm teasing. Okay, so now using z-scores to find a percentile, okay, a percentile ranking. So let's go over real quick. I want to say I did this last Wednesday, but it was so weird when I went back and tried to get the video to upload it. It was not there. I had my human growth class, which I have right after this one, but it did not save this class, and so that really really frustrated me. But okay, so if we remember, or if you didn't attend last Wednesday, you're not going to remember this, or you don't even know it. Percentile or percentile ranking, however you want to think about it, is all the scores equal to or below a particular z-score or score, okay? So percentile ranking, or a percentile, is everybody equal to you and below, okay? Everybody equal to and below a certain score, okay? So I'm going to, oops, I don't know why that, okay. I'm going to go back and use the same stuff right here. Just get rid of this scribble scrabble that I have everywhere. So we can do an example, okay? And we'll go ahead and do Jimmy. Okay, let's do Jimmy real quick. I'll give you guys another freebie, okay? So the first thing we have to do is find his z-score, okay? Now this little problem over here, this is talking about an MMPI. That's our Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory. This is a super fascinating, interesting test. And in your future, Cynthia would be using this test probably quite a bit. And it's saying here that its average is 50, or its mean is 50, and a standard deviation of 10, okay? Remember, all that information will always be given to you, okay? And then we have their raw scores here, okay? So let's do Jimmy, okay? Jimmy, I'm gonna move, oh, well, I'll put it right here. Okay, so Jimmy's, I don't know if that's gonna work like I think it's going to, probably not. I'm thinking I could just draw over here like I'm drawing on the other one. Okay, so Jimmy's z-score would be equal to his raw score minus the mean. They tell us the mean is up here. It's 50. Divided by 10. They told us the standard deviation is 10. So we get 18 divided by 10. Oh, it's not going to let me scoot over anymore. I like to see y'all's faces. I'm just going to minimize you. Oh, I'll put you there real quick. So I'm not great at math, but I think that's 1.8, right? So Jimmy got a z-score of 1.8. Oops. That would put him, I don't know, maybe about right here. Okay, doesn't have to be perfect. We're not into exacts, which is nice, right? In statistics, that's a cool thing. We don't have to be exact. All right, now let's visualize. Percentile is everybody at and below, okay? So we need everybody that's equal to him and below. So how we figure this out is we use our trusty little table, okay? And if we looked at this chunk right here, we're looking from a Z to the mean, right? This chunk right in here is the Z to the mean. And what column do we use for a Z to mean? I'll tell you. We use the B column,
Mhm.
okay? We use the B column. Z to mean is the B column. So let's see, 1.8, I'm finding it, and I got 0.4641. 0.4641, okay? Now that's not all, we're not done, okay? Because we know all of these people matter too. Everybody below the mean. If we just used 4641, we're only telling us where Jimmy is in relation to the mean and those people that are above the mean with him. But we're leaving out all of those people that are below the mean. So we have to add up and include all of these people, right? Because they matter too. And this value here is, and always will be, 0.5000. If we're just looking at the distribution, there are always 50% below the mean and 50% above the mean. Okay, that's just a given. It just is. Okay, it just is. So I'm going to go back to this real quick. Maybe not. I'm going to go back to this real quick. For a positive Z-score, percentile equals B column plus 0.5000. Always and forever. Okay, always and forever. So for Jimmy here, if that's true, that it's always B column plus 0.5000, move that little decimal over 2 times because we're talking about percentages, percentile. He's in the 96.41 percentile. Oops. Do you guys see how I did that? For percentile, it's everybody that's equal to, oh, what happened? It's everybody that's equal to a score and below. And so the way to figure that out is you go to the table and you have to find B column because that tells you the proportion between the mean and the Z. But that proportion only takes you to the mean. And we need to figure out everybody that's also below the mean. And that it's just going to be 0.5000. It's 50% of the population. if you want to see, it is in here, I promise you. Okay, if you look up at the table, there is a z-score of 0. Just so I can show you, I promise you I'm not making this up. There's your z-score of 0. If you're a z-score of 0, you're equal to the mean, so you're not going to be any different, right? There's no proportion between you and the mean because you are the mean. You have a z-score of 0. And then everything from the mean in the tail is 0.5000. Okay. And if you think about that, that makes sense, right? Because we are talking about the population of people. And so if we had 50% below the mean and 50% above the mean, that added together is 100% of the people. Okay. All right, okay, how do we feel about that? We feel okay? Okay, so let's do a negative z-score.
So
Okay.
you're gonna, we have to put both. The z-score is gonna be 1 point and the percentile is gonna be another point. I mean, we have to do it both for the tests.
Yeah, yes, it'll, yeah, you would have to do both. I mean, no matter what, Irene, to get the percentile, you're going to have to find the z-score, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so there's, so we might as well get points if we can find the z-score, right? So yeah, you're going to have to do that part. All right.
Okay.
Do you feel okay with that part?
Yeah, just asking, just to make sure.
Just to clarify, I got you. Okay, good. All right, so let's pick, I'm not going to pick one of these people here. Let's go with someone else. Let's just make it up here. Let me try and erase if it'll let me. I don't know why sometimes it doesn't want my, oh, there it goes. Oh gosh, or not. See, it won't, I don't know. Won't let me do my finger. Let's try and do my mouse here to get it all as much as I can. Okay, negative z-scores are a lot easier. A lot easier. Okay, so let's pick somebody, I don't know, Tim. And let's say Tim, we have to get a negative z-score, so we need to be below 50. Let's give him a 39. Okay, let's give him, let's say he scored a 39. So a z-score for Tim would be 39 minus 100. Sorry. I was getting onto IQ, I apologize. Minus the 50 divided by 10. Remember, sorry, I hate it when I misspeak because then I know it confuses everybody. Remember, we had 50 was the mean and 10 was the standard deviation. Okay, I apologize. 39 minus 50 is negative 11. Divided by 10. So we get negative 1.10. My dog woke up. Matthew, will you let Aggie out, baby? All right. I hear my son out there, and I think that's what the dog's excited about too. Okay, so sorry guys. So a negative 1.10. So Tim's z-score is 1.10. So let's go through and erase this stuff because we got to get Tim on here now. Okay. Thank you, honey. All right. So negative 1.10. It's not going to be too far off. That's probably too far away, but again, we don't care, right? We'll say 1.10 negative, right? Negative 1.10. Okay, so now back to visualization. Percentile is everybody equal to and below. Okay, equal to and below. Sorry for you guys, below is probably that way, huh? I realized I flip-flop them. What can we look at that would give us everybody equal to Tim and below?
The column C?
Yes, yes, exactly. Exactly. Oh, oops, I didn't mean to do that. That is exactly right. So for a negative z-score, percentile equals C column. That's exactly right. So 1.1 Z is 1357. Oops. Right, it gives us a proportion for us to turn it into a percentile. You just move that decimal over. So for Tim, oops, his z-score was negative 1.10. His percentile ranking is 1357%. He's in the 13th percentile. Okay. Pretty easy, maybe?
Wait, how did we get the 13?
No, that's all right. Oh yeah, so we got it from C column, from the C in here, right? Because if you look at this over here, it's a z-score and it's everybody below, right? It's everybody in the tail below him. So we use the C column because that's what that shows us, right? And if we could move my scribble scrabble, oops. You see 1.10, our C column is that 1357. Yeah, you got that? I think this right here is like this, have that, you know, written somewhere or print it out or put it on a sticky or something like that, okay? To find a percentile. For a positive, you add B plus 0.50000. For a negative, you use C column, okay? Percentile ranking, why this part is important. The other stuff maybe isn't so important. The other stuff that I taught you is just leading you up to this, right? Percentile is used in IQ, right? It's used in height and weight. If you've ever taken a little kid or a baby to the pediatrician, they're going to measure them, height and weight, and then they're probably going to tell you what percentile they're in. They're going to say they're in the 85th percentile, meaning they are equal to or taller than 85% of the other little kids their age and gender. This becomes important for certain things like what if the baby was underweight or not growing, right? They're physically, for some reason, developmentally, they're not growing the way they're supposed to. And they're not on track with what would be considered normal or average. maybe there's a certain cutoff point. We know if kids that are under or that are in the 5th percentile, their growth is stunted for some reason. Okay, and then that would cause doctors to say, let's see what's wrong with them. Why are they not growing? I have a cousin whose daughter has cystic fibrosis, right? And so this was one of the ways that they caught on to that, was she was a baby and she just wasn't growing like the way she was supposed to. Okay, she was very, very low. So let's see, other things. It's used in standardized tests, getting into graduate school, the SAT, the ACT, getting into medical school. All of those tests are standardized, and they're going to have cutoffs in certain percentiles where you need to sit and where you need to rank, right? So this is how that is used and how that is calculated. Matthew, I don't know if I've told you, my son Matthew has dyslexia, and we just got reading scores back. He's in the 8th percentile, meaning he's only reading equal to or better than 8% of other kids in 4th grade, right? So that really shows, right? This is the 13th percentile, right? Where would the 8th percentile be? Really low down there in terms of reading. Okay, so percentile, when you hear that in different things, if you get a letter and it tells you you're in the 84th percentile, I'll just let you know 84 is 1 standard deviation above. Okay, so you're doing really good. If you're even higher than that, you're doing even better, right? So that's percentile. All right, I'll stop talking about that, just so you guys know that there's why I'm doing this, right? Sometimes we like to know the why. Okay, are there any questions over anything we've done so far?
Okay, I do. I get it. I really understand this. I understand. I didn't go to last class, but I saw the recording, and I understand it a bit better now. Maybe because I'm actually in the class.
Interacting,
I
yeah.
understand it a lot better. The only thing I'm still like a little kind of iffy is determining like which column and like the proportion. Like when you mentioned between the mean and a negative z-score of negative 3.23, that's where like I'm still a little, iffy.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, let's erase all that. And it's Erica, right? So Erica,
Yes,
I hate it when my computer doesn't do what I want it to do. Why isn't it doing it? Okay, there we go. I'm going to take that off. Okay. So these tables, I didn't mean to do that. These tables maybe the proportion part is kind of hard to think about. So if you can look at this number, or any of these numbers in here and just kind of put them into percentages, right? Just move that little decimal over. So we could kind of think of this one as 36%, right? This one's like 13%, if you want to think of it that way.
Okay.
What it's telling you is, like, what's the percentage of that chart or this distribution from whatever z-score you're looking at, right? That's all A column, whatever z-score you're looking at, to the mean. Like, it's giving you the chunk. It's like, what is the percent of people in here? What is the percent of people that's over here? I don't know if that's just a different way to kind of think about it in your head, and that might make more sense, because we never really talk about proportions very much. I don't think, at least I don't. So again, I guess just looking at this here, this symbol is the mean. And you could write that there. Oops, my it's too big. You could write that it's the mean to the z if you don't like that symbol or something. And it tells you here also, right? It's giving you a picture of it. It's saying that B column is whatever z-score you're looking at and the mean, and it's giving you that proportion or percentage of people. C column is beyond that z-score. It's beyond it into infinity. Okay, it's just everything that's beyond that z. Now let's look at this example here of negative 3.23. Okay, I'm going to have to go to this table or the next one. Okay, I flip-flopped it because I know it doesn't go that far. So 3.23 down here. Okay, there it is. We don't have a negative z-score, or I mean, yeah, we don't have a negative z-score on the table, just because that part doesn't really matter when we're looking up B column or C column, okay? So if we have our little distribution here, let's put the mean right there in the middle. And we're now looking at negative 3.23. That's going to be way out here. Okay, negative 3.23. So number 12, it's asking us, what is that proportion that's in between here? Okay, what is that proportion that's right in here? And that's where we look at B column, right? And it even shows us right here, or it doesn't. It did on the other one, sorry. It gives a picture, right?
Mhm.
For a negative z-score. Stop it. Do you see that right there?
Yes.
So it tells us a negative z to the mean. Okay, now this little sliver obviously is smaller than ours, but it's okay, it doesn't matter, right? So we're looking at B column, okay, and it tells you if you're looking in there. So B column for 3.23 is 4994, right?
Yes. And then
Okay.
you just move 2 decimal places, or is that for percentile? Sorry.
Yeah, that would be for, no, that's good. Yeah, my head kind of flips back and forth between them. And so it doesn't matter, but I just, on this test, on this question, it'll, it's asking for proportion, right? But yeah, so, and I would never do that. I would never type like one in a proportion and one in a percentage, and that would be too tricky. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. So this answer is just 0.4994. Okay.
Okay.
And because that's just telling you that that's that proportion right there in between the mean and the z-score. In 13, it's asking for a z-score or the proportion beyond, right? The proportion in the tail beyond a z-score. And so that one is everything below or in the tail, okay? And it's not very much, right? We have a z-score here that's really far out there. So there's not that many people left in the tail. So that's why we have such a small value right there. We have 0.0006.
Yeah.
And these, well, it's not tricky, or it's not meant to be tricky. You will never have negative. Those are just that's trying to catch people that don't know this information, okay? We can't have a negative because we don't have negative proportion of people. We don't have a negative percentage of people, okay?
Right.
So I don't, does that help?
It really does. It honestly really does. I have a better idea now. Yes.
Okay. Are you okay with the percentile? Like, just going back and kind of reading over that if it's a positive, we've got to add B column to the 0.5000, or if it's a negative Z-score, we just use C column.
Yes, yes. I also took a picture of it, like when you zoomed it in, oh, add it to a sticky or something, have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took a
Yeah.
picture of it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's a good little note to have there. I know sometimes we talk about all of this stuff and you guys as students, you're sitting there and you're just like, what do I need to know? What do I need to know for the test? Or what's a little trick that can help me on the test? And that's it. Okay, that right there. And like I keep showing you this one up here, right? It just, it tells you, right? It's telling you exactly what it is. And if you wanted to write on there, you know, this one is the mean to the Z and this one is in the tail, you know, go for it. Okay. All right. Any other questions? No? Okay. All right. Well, why don't you guys work on that assignment, and if you come into problems, you know, you can always email me, you can message me. I was telling the class yesterday, maybe even write it in that discussion board in the class chat room, because I guarantee you, if you have questions, other people have the same question. And there could be some, you know, you guys can kind of like, oh yeah, this, you know, and it, a trick to that, or like a psychology aspect of that is, we know if you can explain it to somebody, you're mastering that material. Okay, so this is even just a little trick. If you wanted to, you know, hold down your significant other or a friend or your mom or a kid and explain to them this in the best way that you can, that really will help you with understanding the information also. Okay, that's just a little trick. And then you also, when you're trying to explain it, you find where you're getting stuck, right? You find, oh, maybe I don't really understand that part. Okay, but put it in the chat, you know, email me. So how we can do this, I've had people do it different ways. So some people have already turned it in. Some people literally printed it out, wrote on it, took pictures and emailed it to me. You can do that. If you want to write on there yourself, I've had people do that too. They just edited the document and they put their own answers in and emailed it that way. Okay, and so I'm trying to pay extra attention to my email right now so that if I get anything, I can answer back right away. Okay, if you have questions about it or you just want me to check it so you can see how you're doing. Okay, I'm not grading this for right and wrong answers. I just want you guys to do it and have an honest attempt of really trying to make sure that you know this information. Okay, so I won't sit there and give you like a 30 on it or anything like that. Okay, if you go through and you answer them, I'll give feedback on if you missed anything, but really it's going to be just you completed it and turned it in. Okay, but I will give feedback on it. Okay. Any other questions?
I just saw you add a new material. This is going to be for the week after the break on variability.
Oh, that's just a little, that's just a little,
for this one.
It's just a little picture. There's nothing to do with it. It's just a picture.
Okay.
It's like a joke. Okay. Yeah, statistics, we don't get a lot of like jokes and cartoons. Okay. And so that's just it's just something funny.
I didn't see it. I just,
for some people.
So I got it.
Oh, you didn't look at it. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of cute. It's nerd humor, but it's cute. So,
yeah. Is yesterday's class about this review too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, if you wanted to watch that one, it might just be, I might word things differently. People might ask different questions. And